Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the IXDAO X02T Titanium. Start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing a Steel Dive SD 1970. I bet you can't guess why. And Grogu is still wearing my Podagar 924. Grogu said that Princess Leia sent a fleet to free the slaves working in the spice mines of Kessel. Grogu asked her why she didn't send anyone sooner, as the workers have been complaining about conditions for as long as he could remember. She said it just wasn't a high priority. After all, they were just minor complaints. Alright, let's take a look at the watch. When I did the unboxing, I thought this was a coaster, but look here, it says customer name, serial number, and date of purchase. So this is really the unsigned warranty card. So, and then here it says no time like the present. So we got a little cliche platitude thing. And here's the watch. There's nothing else in this box. There's no tools, no instructions or anything like that. We just have the extra links that I always keep in the boxes that it comes in. But it is a very nice box. And here's the watch. Isn't that a nice looking watch? I really like it. This is the first IXDAO on my channel. At $270, this IXDAO is a bit expensive for my self-funded channel. But since I recently reviewed a similarly priced Octopus Kraken with almost identical specs, I thought it would be worthwhile to review this watch and then do a comparison with the Octopus. Since I will be doing said comparison, I am going to try to avoid comparing it with the Octopus for this review and reviewing it on its own. This is an homage to a Tudor Pelagos 39, which has recently took the Swiss watch world by storm and quite difficult to get at the authorized dealer at the time of this review. The Pelagos 39 addressed many of the complaints of the full-size 42mm Pelagos. Keep in mind that these are common complaints, but not my complaints, as the full-size 42mm Pelagos in blue is my Grail watch, and I think it is about perfect. The Chinese homage companies kind of ignored the original Pelagos, but they are moving full steam ahead when it comes to the Pelagos 39, as there are titanium versions from Seastern, Octopus Kraken, and just recently San Martin. And unlike Tudor, who only offers the 39 in black, you can get an homage in glorious blue, which is my preferred color. If you prefer, you can also get the bezel that looks familiar to the FXD with minute markers throughout the entire bezel and not just the ascension face. Although unlike the FXD, it remains a unidirectional count-up bezel and not a bidirectional countdown bezel. You also don't get solid spring bars either. This watch comes with a PT5000 for an additional $80. You can get a Salida 200, and if you tack another $60 onto that, you can get an ETA 2824. The watch is 39.9mm at the bezel, but this is still a 39mm watch because it overlaps the case. So the case is 39mm. It's 46.6mm lug to lug with inverted end links. It's only 11.6mm thick. It's always nice to see an automatic dive watch under 12. It really is. Has a 21mm lug width. Boo. And weighs 105 grams on the supplied bracelet with 2 links removed. So it's very light because this is indeed titanium. There's no way a steel watch would weigh only 105 grams of this size. We have a 60-click unidirectional bezel with a ceramic insert, and the ceramic insert has that matte finish, which is similar to a Pelagos finish. And the action is really good. Nice big solid clicks. No back play at all. Really good clicks. You can really hear them. And a Pelagos is a 60-click bezel, so it matches that. And everything lines up just fine. The only thing though is the action is just a hair loose, and often when I'm setting it or winding it with the crown or doing something, I'll hit the bezel with my thumb and knock it out of position. So that's quite common. It would be nice if it was just a hair stiffer, but that's definitely not a deal breaker. And the bezel is fully loomed. You'll see later in the loom test. Then we have the IXDAO name and logo up top, and then it says Timeless underneath. Then underneath it says Millie Diver. Then it gives a 200 meters, 660 feet. And then it says self-winding with a little smile, which Tudor used to do on different watches on the Black Bays, but they never really did that on the Pelagos, especially the 39. And then we have the dial. Now this is the biggest difference between this watch and a real Tudor Pelagos, is this dial has a sunburst effect. It's not a matte dial, it's a glossy sunburst dial. So that's totally different than a true Pelagos, which always has a matte dial. And it's a really deep blue. It's deeper, it's bluer than the bezel, so it doesn't really match the bezel exactly. And in some angles it almost looks black. And then we have the chapter ring, and true to the 39, there's no cutouts like on the 42 Pelagos. And then we have the indices painted on, and they're painted on with lume, and the lume is pretty good. You'll see later on in the test. In fact, the lume is awesome, not pretty good. And then we have the hands, and these look just like a Pelagos, with painted on with very thick lume, which gives almost a floating effect in the middle. And we got the fence post minute hand, and the snowflake hour hand, and the snowflake lollipop second hand. And there is no date on this, just like a 39. A 42 Pelagos does have a date, but the 39 does not. Now this is a PT5000. It has a date, so there is a ghost date. I don't mind a ghost date. It's no big deal to me. Then we have a signed screw-down crown giving you 200 meters of water resistance. It has the IXDAO logo, which looks a lot like a Tudor rose, but not exactly. And then the action is really good. Get a nice pop when you unscrew it. And the best part is when you go to screw it right back down, the threads catch instantly and you don't feel a lot of resistance. So you never feel like you're going to strip it or anything. And then we have a flat sapphire crystal with AR coating, and that's nice. You see a little bit of reflection. The AR is not perfect, but then again I got overhead lights and that never helps. And then we have the case. The case is solid titanium, and it's brushed everywhere except for this polished chamfered edge. And it's brushed on the bottoms too. It's a really nice case. It's very compact. They did a good job keeping this watch compact. The lugs don't stick out too much. And it's very thin. Good case. Then we have the screw down case back. It's a coin edge. You'll need a 29.5 millimeter tool to open it. Then it says 200 meters, 660 feet, sapphire crystal. Then it says automatic movement. So they don't limit you to what the movement is, because you have different options. You can get the, as I said in the montage, you can get the PT5000, or you can spend more and get a Salida, or you can spend a lot and get an ETA. And the case back's nice and flat. Look at that. You can hardly tell there's a case back on it, which is rare for an automatic. It's pretty common for a quartz to be this thin, but not an automatic. So they did a really good job there. Underneath the case back is the PT5000 movement. This is basically a Chinese clone of the ETA 2824. It's got a pretty good reputation for a Chinese made. And it's basically the go-to movement now if you want a 4 Hertz movement and do not want to spend the money for a Miyota or a Salida or a ETA. It's a 25 jewel movement that hand winds hacks, and I don't know if the rotor is bidirectional or not. I I can't really hear it, so I don't know. But let's put it on the time grapher and see how accurate it is. Here it is on the time grapher. As you can see, those are some seriously good numbers. And there's no beat error. And the amplitude's fairly healthy. So this movement is running spot on. And as you can see, once again, it's a true 4 Hertz movement that ticks 8 times a second, which is what the 28,800 means. So yeah, this is running great. The bracelet is a 3-link oyster style, and it has solid inverted end links. And it has screw pins instead of push pins. And the heads aren't too tiny. Some of these watches, they get really small. But no, you should be able to find a decent screwdriver to get these screws out. Did not come with the screwdriver. And then we have the clasp. It's milled. There is no diver's extension like a true Pelagos. And you do have 3 holes to micro adjust. Then the clasp is signed. We have the IXDAO name. And there is no on-the-fly adjustment. But the links aren't too big, so 3 holes should be enough. Also, these links are fully articulating. So you should be able to get a really good fit, and this watch is super comfortable to wear. One of my viewers said another reviewer complained that this thing was uncomfortable, and I don't know what they were smoking because this thing is great. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. Looks nice, wears nice, nice and thin. The fully articulating bracelet hugs the wrist. I removed 2 links to fit on my 7.5. So if your wrist is bigger than 8, you'll have to ask the company you're ordering it from to include some extra links. Hopefully they'll do that. I did have one of my viewers, Joe Hain, he ordered an octopus and asked for extra links, and they gave it to him. So you should hopefully get that from IXDAO also. But yeah, this is a really nice looking watch, and it wears great. Here we are in the lume room. Just wearing the watch, I could tell that it had awesome lume. So instead of wasting time with the solo test, I figured I'd just put it up against my Still Dive 1970, which has awesome lume and a fully lume bezel. As we speed up the time, we see both watches are about equal. As time goes by, we see that the numbers on the IXDAO bezel aren't as strong as the rest of the watch, although the bezel markers are doing quite well, but not quite as good as the Still Dive bezel. So the bezel goes to the Still Dive. The indices are real close with a slight edge to the IXDAO, which also has a better second hand and an hour hand. But the all-important minute hand I would call a tie. What do I like about this watch? Stunning looks and wearability. I like the fact that it's made of titanium, and it has a full titanium case and bracelet, which makes for a very lightweight and comfortable watch to wear. I like the fact that it's only 11.6 millimeters thick, which is super thin for an automatic dive watch. And I like the fact that it has awesome lume and a fully lumed bezel. What are my gripes and groans? Well, I don't like the sunburst dial. I like the flat dial of a Pelagos, and I kind of wish they had at least an option for a flat dial. 21 millimeter lug width is going to eliminate a lot of strap choices. And it would be nice if they had some kind of on-the-fly adjustment on the clasp, considering the price of this watch. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, this watch is great. Nicely finished titanium case and bracelet make it super light and comfortable and a complete joy to wear. If you want an homage to a Pelagos 39, then this will be a worthy addition to your collection. Now, once again, I'm going to do a comparison with the Octopus Kraken version of this Pelagos 39, and I will see which one is the best because I can only afford to keep one. So be sure to come back for my comparison video. Well, thank you for watching my review of the IXDAO X02 X02T Titanium, and I will be back with another review or unboxing. Actually, it's going to be an unboxing. I just got 2 more watches from AliExpress. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.